The deep edge of human space was quiet, almost too quiet, when the signal first appeared. On the bridge of the scout ship Solace, Captain Rylan stared at the pulsing light on the main screen. Every 12 seconds, it flashed once, a cold, sharp, unnatural beacon in the void. No origin, no known code, just a silent pulse, hitting their senses like a slow, deliberate heartbeat in the dark. Rylan wasn't a man who believed in omens, but this felt like trouble wrapped in a mystery. He'd served for 15 years, seen plenty of strange things. Rogue forgotten colonies, hidden pirate nests, but nothing like this. Lieutenant Mara, the ship's sensor officer, leaned closer to her console, her voice trembling slightly. "Captain, it's not random. There's a purpose to it. Something or someone wants us to hear this." Rylan crossed his arms, his gaze fixed on the screen. "Any language markers?" "None, sir." "Energy signature?" "Also none." That was impossible. Nothing sent a signal without leaving an energy trace. But the screen insisted this pulse came from something that left no footprint. The unease on the bridge grew thicker. The Solace was a small vessel, built for scouting and fast research, not for confronting unknown threats. They were completely alone out here, in a sector of space where even military ships rarely passed. And yet, the signal called to them. The captain made his decision. "Take us in, slow and steady." The Solace moved through the darkness, its engines whispering. The pulse remained constant, every 12 seconds, a clock that refused to die. At first, nothing changed. Then, suddenly, the pulse stopped. Mara gasped. "Captain, the signal just cut out, completely." Rylan stepped closer. "Did we lose it?" "No, sir," she whispered. "It ended the moment we entered its broadcast radius. It's like it knew we arrived." The bridge fell silent. Ships didn't think. Signals didn't wait. Nothing in space behaved like this. Rylan's instinct screamed danger, but his curiosity was stronger. Scan again, full sweep. The results came back in seconds. No ships, no stations, no debris, nothing, just empty space. But Rylan knew better. Nothing doesn't send signals. Before anyone could respond, the ship's lights flickered. The entire vessel trembled, and the forward view screen darkened as something massive and unseen blocked out the stars. Mara's voice cracked. "Captain, something is right in front of us," Rylan whispered. "Magnify." The screen zoomed in, but still showed only emptiness. "No, wait," Mara said, her eyes wide. "It's there. Something is there. It's just invisible. A cloaking field. A massive one." Rylan's hand curled into a fist. "Drop our speed to minimum. Keep all scanners active." The Solace crawled forward. The sensors screamed with distorted readings. The very fabric of space around them felt wrong, like it was bending and twisting. Then it happened. With a sound of tearing metal that vibrated through the hull, a shape slowly began to appear. First, a faint shimmer, then sharp, defined edges. Then, towering walls of dark, scarred metal. Piece by piece, the enormous object decloaked directly in front of them. It was a ship the size of a small city. Dead silent, ancient-looking, and unmistakably designed like a human warship. The bridge crew stared, breathless. Captain Mara said, barely breathing, "This thing, it's human in design, but its architecture, its alloys, its age. It shouldn't exist." "Age?" Rylan asked. She swallowed hard. "The readings say, thousands of years old." That made no sense. Humanity had only reached deep space a few hundred years ago. "Run that again." "I have. 3 times, Captain. This ship is older than human space." The idea was terrifying. A human-designed ship, older than human space travel itself. Then, the second horror revealed itself. Strange symbols were carved along its hull, half familiar, half alien, as if 2 species had built it together, or fought over it, or died inside it. The ship looked like a corpse floating through eternity, yet it had just decloaked on purpose. It was waiting for them. It wanted them to see it. Rylan's heart tightened. Why would something this old have cloaking tech, this advanced? Mara shook her head. "Captain, this isn't just advanced. It's beyond anything the human empire has ever created." The mood on the bridge turned cold. Everyone felt it. Something unseen was watching them. Not a machine, not an AI, something else. Before anyone could speak, the comms system crackled alive with a sound like distant thunder. A voice spoke. "Human vessel. Stand by for inspection." The words were in perfect English, but the voice was absolutely not human, not robotic, not digital. It was something ancient and alive. Rylan froze. "Identify yourself." There was no reply. The screen flickered, showing glowing energy forming around the ancient ship, a tractor beam. It locked onto the Solace with terrifying strength. "We're being pulled in," Mara shouted. Rylan barked. "Full reverse thrusters. Thrusters at max. It's not stopping us." The Solace shook violently as it was dragged toward the dead-looking giant. Crew members held onto consoles as alarms blared through the bridge. Rylan's breathing grew heavy. "Brace yourselves." The alien voice spoke once more, calm, cold, and final. "Human vessel, your past has found you." The tractor beam tightened, and the silent giant swallowed them whole. The moment the Solace crossed the hull barrier, everything changed. Darkness vanished, replaced by a strange blue mist that filled the docking bay like quiet fog. The Solace hovered, held by invisible forces, before settling onto a platform of ancient metal. No gravity generators, no human tech. It was as if the old vessel remembered how to hold a human craft. Captain Rylan stood slowly. No one spoke. The comms hissed again, but this time, it wasn't a voice. It was breathing. Long, slow, and cold. A chill ran down Rylan's spine. "All stations full internal lockdown. No one leaves the bridge." Mara nodded, eyes locked on her screens. "Captain, I think something is scanning us." "Source," she swallowed. Inside the walls, the lights flickered. The docking bay doors slid open with a deep groan, and a walkway extended toward the Solace, inviting them. Lieutenant Rowan, the security chief, checked his weapon. "Captain, we can set up a defensive line." "No weapons," Rylan said firmly. "We don't start a war we don't understand." He stepped to the hatch, opened the door. The blue mist parted, revealing shimmering light on the metal floor. Mara whispered, "Captain, this ship isn't dead. It's waking up." Rylan stepped onto the walkway. The air felt heavy, cold, like touching something ancient. The corridor led into a massive chamber, walls curving like a giant ribcage, covered in shifting symbols. Rowan whispered, "This place looks wrong." Mara's voice was soft. "Captain, I'm detecting human alloy structures inside these walls, mixed with something else." Rylan touched the metal. It felt warm, pulsing, almost alive. The corridor ended at a round chamber. As Rylan approached, a tall, narrow door split open without a sound, and the boarders entered. Tall, thin, armored in dark plates that reflected no light. Their leader's armor opened slightly, revealing a pale, almost human-like jaw. It raised a device and scanned Rylan with a white light. "Human," pattern confirmed. Its voice was deep, old. "Who are you?" Rylan asked. The creature tilted its head. "Inspection," it said. "Judgment." "Judgment for what?" Rowan stepped forward angrily. "You do not know," the alien replied. "That is the problem." It motioned for them to follow, deeper into the ship. Then they reached another chamber. Rylan stopped breathing. Ancient human skeletons hung from the walls, fused with metal, twisted into the very structure of the ship. Mara covered her mouth. "What is this?" Rylan whispered. "This was your species' last great vessel," the alien said. "The final creation of your forgotten empire, built with stolen technology, built with arrogance." Rylan stared in shock. "Impossible. Humans didn't have ships like this thousands of years ago." "You erased the records," the alien said. "But the truth does not die. It sleeps." A hologram burst to life, showing fleets of ancient, advanced human ships in a massive war. "This can't be real," Rylan whispered. "Your ancestors broke a pact and paid the price," the alien responded. "Now the debt has returned." The ship rumbled, loud and heavy. The alien raised its arm. "Come, there is more you must understand." The door ahead groaned open, and the humans stepped deeper into their forgotten past. The deeper they ventured into the ancient vessel, the heavier the air became. It was like stepping into a tomb, one that still remembered the screams of its dead. Captain Rylan kept his posture firm, but every instinct screamed at him to turn back. The armored aliens walked ahead in silent formation. They didn't hurry. They didn't speak. They moved like beings who had waited thousands of years for this moment, and were not afraid of anything inside this ship. The corridor twisted downward, lit by weak red lights that pulsed like a tired heartbeat. The walls changed from smooth metal to a strange but organic texture, almost like old bone, with glowing veins running through it. Rylan felt the hairs on his arms rise. "It's like the ship is alive," he muttered. Mara walked closer behind him, her voice tight. "And it remembers us." Rowan stayed close to their backs, his hand hovering near his holster. "Captain, if these things try anything, no weapons," Rylan reminded him softly. "Not unless we have no choice." Rowan clenched his teeth but nodded. The aliens finally stopped at a large circular chamber. The doors opened with a long, deep groan, like something waking from a nightmare. Inside, the room was a massive, hollow sphere, with bridges crossing like spider threads. Strange machines floated in the air, rotating slowly around a central pillar. But it wasn't the machines that caught their attention. It was the figures standing motionless along the chamber's sides. More armored aliens, but these were older. Their armor was cracked, their limbs stiff as stone. Their eyes, if they had any, glowed faintly with tiny orange lights. Mara whispered, "Are they alive?" The alien leader answered, "Dormant. Until now." As the humans entered the chamber, the dormant aliens turned their heads all at once. All of them. The sound of metal scraping echoed like knives. Rowan stepped in front of Mara, his hand near his weapon. Captain Rylan raised a hand. "Hold." One of the dormant aliens separated from the wall and walked forward, moving slowly, its joints cracking loudly. It stopped in front of Rylan and scanned him with a white beam. The alien leader spoke to it in a deep, clicking language. The older alien responded, then turned to Rylan. Its voice was distorted, but understandable. "Human, confirmed. Pattern stable." "Pattern?" Rylan asked. The alien leader stepped forward. "You carry the DNA of the old ones, the empire that built this vessel, the empire that was destroyed." Rylan felt a cold shock. Humans never had an old empire. "You're mistaken." The alien tilted its head, as if amused. "You may lie to each other, you may hide your past, but you cannot lie to the ship. It remembers your kind. It was made with your minds, with your bodies, with your blood." Mara's voice was small. "Captain, could humans really have been out here thousands of years ago, before recorded history?" Rylan didn't answer. Suddenly, the central pillar lit up, and holograms flickered to life images of ancient humans, wearing unfamiliar armor, speaking lost languages. Rowan whispered, "They look like us, but different." They were tall, strong, their eyes sharp with confidence and cruelty. But then, darker holograms appeared. Human fleets burning alien planets, soldiers laughing as cities fell, aliens screaming as twisted experiments went wrong. Mara stepped back, horrified. "Captain, this is horrible." The alien leader turned to her. "Your ancestors broke the pact. They stole from us. They killed us. They left this vessel to drift, full of the dead." The leader pointed to the wall, and the metal peeled back, revealing ancient human skeletons fused inside. Rylan felt sick. "Why show us this?" "Because ignorance is dangerous," the leader said, "and your kind has forgotten what you are capable of." Rylan forced himself to breathe. "We're not the same humans. We didn't do this." The alien responded calmly. "That is what we are here to judge." The dormant aliens on the walls suddenly began to move. Their weapons unfolded from their arms. Rowan's eyes widened. "Okay, this is bad." But instead of attacking, the aliens formed a circle around the central pillar and fired beams of blue energy into it. The pillar rumbled, and a tear opened down its center. Inside was a cylindrical pod, covered in frost. It hissed open slowly, revealing the silhouette of a human body. Mara gasped. "No, that's impossible." The alien leader spoke quietly, almost with reverence. "This is the last survivor of your forgotten empire, the final witness of your ancient war. When it wakes, it will speak truth." Rowan muttered. "We're not ready for this." The pod cracked open further. A pale living hand fell out. Rylan felt his heart freeze. It was human. It was alive. The alien leader turned to them. "Prepare yourselves. The past is waking, and it does not wake gently." The pod burst with light, and the ancient human inside opened its eyes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this one. The chamber air cracked sharply as the ancient pod hissed open. Frost spilled out like white smoke, and Rylan shielded his eyes from the blinding light within. The crew watched, breathless, as a figure rose. It was human, but not like any they knew. Tall, broad-shouldered, with skin as pale as moonlight, and eyes that glowed a faint gold. He was built like a soldier from a world without fear. His muscles engineered, his posture unnaturally perfect. As he blinked, the entire chamber trembled. The dormant aliens, who had been silent guardians, bowed their heads in reverence, as if saluting a long-lost commander. Rylan whispered, What, is he? The alien leader answered quietly, his voice heavy with history. He is what your kind once was, a soldier of the first human empire. The ancient human stepped from the pod. The glowing patterns on the walls brightened, reacting to his presence. He surveyed the chamber, his deep, steady voice cutting through the silence. Status report, he commanded. The alien leader replied instantly. The vessel is damaged. The war is long over. Only fragments remain. The ancient human's expression didn't change. His glowing eyes turned to Rylan and the crew. Modern humans, he said, a note of disappointment in his voice. We feared this day would come. Rylan stepped forward. Who are you? The ancient human studied him, his gaze piercing. My designation is Commander Arkan, First Fleet of the Human Dominion. You, are descendants of the Fallen Age. Rylan was confused. We don't know anything about a Dominion, or a First Fleet. Humanity's history doesn't. Arkan raised a hand, silencing him. Because you erased it. All of it. The chamber darkened, and holograms flared to life, sharper and more vivid than before. They showed a version of humanity that defied all known history. Millions rising from Earth in godlike ships, expanding across the galaxy at an impossible speed. They didn't explore. They conquered. They met other civilizations and stole their technologies, building weapons that could bend gravity, energy, and reality itself. Arkan narrated with a chilling calm. In the beginning, our empire grew with pride. We reached thousands of worlds, but we did not share. We took. The holograms shifted to scenes of pure horror. Human fleets attacking alien planets, white-hot beams carving through cities. We believed only humans could lead the galaxy, Arkan stated. We believed only humans mattered. Mara shook her head, horrified. This can't be true. Humans wouldn't do this. Arkan's gaze was empty. You will learn that belief does not make truth. The scene shifted again, showing the very aliens who had escorted them. But younger, stronger, fighting desperately against the human onslaught. They united against us. Arkan continued. The alien races formed a great alliance. They warned us. They begged us to stop. But we answered with fire. Rowan muttered, this is insane. We're the villains. Arkan corrected him without emotion. You were. The holograms grew darker. Massive battles raged across space. Human superweapons shattered entire planets. Then, the tide turned. Alien fleets, finally unified, pushed back. Human worlds began to fall, one by one. We were powerful, Arkan said, but we were also arrogant. And arrogance is a poison. The first human empire crumbled. In the end, we built this ship, our final machine. A vessel for survival, for rebirth. We used stolen alien technology to power it. We bound humans to the ship itself. Mara shivered. Bound, you mean? Arkan nodded. Their bodies became its power source. The holograms showed humans being fused into the ship's metal walls. The walls around them were made of people. This is sick, Rowan choked out. Arkan replied calmly. It was necessary. Rylan's anger grew, but the empire still fell. Yes, Arkan said. Our last fleets burned. Our colonies died. This vessel escaped into hidden space, and we slept. The alien leader stepped forward, and when the war was over, we hid the truth from your surviving populations. We believed you deserved a new, peaceful beginning. Arkan turned to him sharply. You betrayed the pact. The aliens stared back. We preserved peace. Rylan looked between them. Why erase all human history? The alien spoke first. Because knowledge of the past would only repeat the war. Then Arkan added, his voice cold. And because humans cannot be trusted with great power. The two ancient enemies glared at each other, millennia of hatred burning between them. Rylan finally asked the question hanging in the air. So what now? Arkan's eyes glowed brighter. Now we test you. The alien leader nodded grimly. To decide if your kind deserves to live, or if the galaxy must prepare for another purge. The chamber lights flashed blood red. The floor shook violently as a deep alarm, silent for ages, echoed through the ship. Arkan raised his hand. The trial begins. Survive it, and humanity earns mercy. Fail, and your species dies. Rylan's stomach twisted into a knot. The past had returned, and it wanted judgment. Thanks for watching. If you want to see what happens next in this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, so you don't miss the next part. The alarm's echo faded into a heavy silence, pressing against everyone's ears. Red lights pulsed along the chamber walls, painting everything in a harsh, bloody glow. The ancient ship was fully awake, Kit's heart thrumming back to life after thousands of years. Captain Rylan felt the vibration in the floor grow stronger with each passing second. Whatever trial the alien Archon spoke of, it had already begun. The ancient being's glowing eyes scanned the chamber calmly, as if he'd seen this all before, as if he'd already knew who would live and who would die. Rylan stepped forward, forcing his voice to stay steady. "What do you mean by trial? We didn't do anything wrong. We don't even know this history." Archon turned his gaze slowly toward him. "That is the first crime, your ignorance. You live in comfort while the echoes of the old war scream in the dark." The alien leader's voice was low and accusatory. "Your civilization built its peace on a lie." Mara stepped forward nervously. "We weren't the ones who fought that war. Humanity today is different." Archon raised a hand, cutting her off. "Then prove it." The chamber doors slammed shut behind them with a metallic boom that made everyone jump. The other dormant aliens, now fully awake, formed a defensive ring around the pod where Archon had slept. Rylan looked around, his mind racing. What is happening? The floor vibrated harder. The holograms of the past flickered away and were replaced by something far more real. A giant screen formed out of the air, displaying dozens of star systems, entire sectors of space, and blinking painfully bright on the map was a cluster labeled "Non-Human Civilian World's Evacuation Order Failed." Mara gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "Captain, these are active colonies. Millions of lives." Archon's voice cut through the air like a blade. "This vessel's core is unstable. Its reactors were damaged before we fell asleep. When fully awakened, they enter meltdown protocol." Rowan's eyes widened in horror. "Meaning?" The alien leader spoke in a grim tone. "If the ship explodes, it will create a blast that wipes out every world in that sector." Mara whispered the devastating conclusion. "That's billions." Rylan's jaw tightened, then shut it down. Archon shook his head. "Only those who are bound to the ship may interact with its core. The ancient crew, all of them dead. Except me." Rylan's frustration grew. "Then you shut it down." "I cannot," Archon stated flatly, pointing at the map. "Unless the system accepts that humans today are not a threat. Unless you prove you are not like the old empire." Rowan clenched his fists, his voice shaking with anger. "This is insane. Billions of innocent aliens could die because of a test." Archon looked him dead in the eyes. "That is what your ancestors did without hesitation." The words landed like a physical blow. Mara stepped close to Rylan, her voice barely a whisper. "Captain, what do we do?" Rylan forced himself to stay calm, to think. He breathed in, then out. "Show us the test." Archon motioned, and the screen changed again. Now it showed the interior of the ship, massive corridors, reactor chambers, and control rooms built with a strange hybrid of human and alien technology. Archon explained, "There are 5 reactor conduits. All must be manually stabilized. Each one lies behind obstacles meant for soldiers far stronger than you." Rowan muttered under his breath. "Great," Archon continued, his voice echoing with finality. "Complete all 5, and the ship will shut down safely." "And if we fail?" Rylan asked, already dreading the answer. Archon's response was chillingly calm. "Billions die." Mara swallowed hard. "And if we refuse?" The alien leader stepped forward slowly, his presence filling the room. "Then humanity dies." The silence that followed felt like the air had frozen solid. Rylan closed his eyes for a moment. He heard the tremor of the ship's heart growing faster, a frantic drumbeat counting down to oblivion. He saw Mara's frightened eyes, Rowan's tense shoulders, the glowing veins in the walls pulsing like blood vessels. He opened his eyes and looked straight at Archon. "You want to know who we really are? Fine, we'll prove it." Archon tilted his head, a flicker of something unreadable in his glowing eyes. "You accept the blood debt?" Rylan nodded, his resolve hardening. "If our past caused harm, then our present will fix it." The alien leader watched him closely, as if trying to judge his very soul. "Then begin, and hurry. The ship's core is minutes from full meltdown." The chamber doors groaned open, revealing a long, dark corridor lined with deep crimson lights. A cold wind rushed past them, carrying the smell of ancient metal, dust, and ozone. Rowan stepped to Rylan's side. "Captain, we're really doing this." "We don't have a choice," Rylan said quietly. "We save them, or history repeats itself." Mara took a deep breath, finding a sliver of courage. "Which conduit first?" Archon pointed down the forbidding corridor. The closest one lies inside the spine chamber, but beware, the ship will test you. It remembers the old Empire's warriors. It will expect the same strength, Rowan muttered. Well, that's a problem. Rylan put a hand on his shoulder. No, it's a challenge. Humanity isn't what we used to be in, that's our strength. Mara managed a small smile. We're not monsters anymore. Archon looked at them, his expression unreadable. We will see. As they stepped into the corridor, the lights flickered to life ahead, one by one, revealing an endless path into the ancient ship's belly. Behind them, Archon's voice echoed through the dark hall. Begin the trial. Show us who you are. Rylan led his crew forward. Humanity's fate, and billions of alien lives, now rested entirely in their hands. The stars around the alien warship flickered like cold needles of light. Captain Rax felt a strange chill run across his scales as the distortion grew larger on the edge of his view screen. His officers spoke in quick, nervous tones, trying to understand the impossible reading. No engine trail, no transponder code, no known technology, just a silent ripple in space. Moving closer, Lieutenant Vara checked her console again. Captain, something is there. It's hiding behind a cloaking field stronger than anything we know, and it is coming toward us fast. Rax gripped the arm of his seat. How fast? She swallowed. Too fast. The alien crew had seen humans fight before. They'd seen them destroy and win battles they should have lost, but they had never seen a human ship appear like a ghost in the middle of deep space. Another ripple, another distortion. Then suddenly, the human vessel uncloaked came out of the darkness, like a blade sliding from its sheath. Smooth, black, reflective, no markings, no lights. Its surface looked almost alive, like metal mixed with shadow. The alien bridge fell quiet. Every officer stared in frozen fear. Rax whispered, This is not the same human ship we fought before. It looked too advanced, too dangerous, too calm, like a machine that didn't need to show its power, because it already knew it would win. Vara's voice trembled. Captain, they were watching us the whole time. Rax could feel the weight of that truth. Humans had allowed the alien ship to move closer, allowed them to scan the artifact, allowed them to think they were safe. They set the trap, Rax whispered. The mysterious human ship didn't fire, didn't send a signal, didn't move, it only watched. The alien fleet commander, on another ship, sent a message through the comms. His voice shook with panic. Captain Rax, do not provoke it. We do not know its capability. Before Rax could respond, a loud alarm cut through the bridge. Every control panel flashed red. Strange symbols ran across the screens, symbols the alien crew could not read. It's hacking our systems, Vara screamed. Lights died, engines shut down, weapons powered off. The alien ship was now completely helpless. Rax slammed his fist on the console. They disabled us in seconds with one scan. How is this possible? Vara stared at her screen. Captain, their ship is not metal, not in the way we understand. It is changing shape, adjusting, like it is alive. The human vessel rotated slowly, showing a long scar along its hull. The scar pulsed like a glowing wound. A memory hit Rax like a punch. The humans weren't just exploring this region. They were leaving something behind, or hiding something. Vara gasped as new data appeared. Captain, I think the artifact we scanned, it belongs to them. Silence fell on the bridge. Rax understood the situation instantly. They had touched something they should never have touched, and humans had come to collect the price. A bright white beam shot from the human ship, not a weapon, but a focused scan. It passed through the alien hull like light through glass. Vara screamed, Captain, it's reading every part of our ship, every crew member, every system. Then a chilling detail appeared on the screen. Identified threat level low on response protocol, observe only. Nitrogen monoxide. Lethal action required. Rax felt insult and terror at the same time. Humans didn't even consider them dangerous. The beam stopped. A second later, a human voice echoed across the alien bridgecom, cold, emotionless. It spoke in perfect translated form. Unknown vessel. You accessed restricted human technology. You were warned 3 cycles ago to avoid Sector 9B. You ignored that warning. You triggered a locator signal. Rax stepped forward, trying to speak with courage. We did not know. We did not mean harm. The human voice replied with chilling simplicity. Ignorance does not erase consequence. The temperature on the bridge dropped. Lights flickered. It felt like the human ship's presence alone was draining the air. Rax asked, What? What consequence? There was a long pause. Then the human voice said, Prepare for extraction. The crew panicked. Extraction, Captain. What does that mean? Vera cried. Rax felt the answer before he heard it. Extraction didn't mean rescue. Extraction didn't mean diplomacy. It meant removal, not of the ship, not of their data, but of them. A pulse shot from the human vessel. The alien crew felt a burning sensation behind their eyes. Some screamed, some fell to their knees. Rax grabbed the railing, trying to stay standing. Vara shouted, Captain, the ship it's taking something from us. Rax could feel it, something deep inside him being pulled. Knowledge, memory, thought. The humans were removing every trace of what the crew had seen. The last thing Rax heard before darkness took him was the human voice. The price of ignorance is paid in silence. And then everything went black. Captain Rax woke to the sound of slow, steady beeping. For a moment, he thought he was still on his ship. The lights, the faint hum, the cold air, it all felt so familiar. But when he opened his eyes, he froze. This was not his bridge. This was a human room. White walls, soft lights, and no shadows anywhere. The air smelled too clean, no metal, no oil, only a sterile emptiness. Rax tried to sit up, but glowing bands of light held his arms and legs in place, pinning him to the table. A voice spoke from above. You are awake. Rax looked up to see a human standing there, tall, calm, dressed in a plain black suit. His face was a blank mask, and his eyes were the most terrifying part. Cold, bright, and strange, as if they had seen far too much. Where am I? Rax forced the words out. The human stepped closer. Inside the observation deck of the vessel Eclipse Protocol. Your ship has been secured. Secured, Rax whispered, panic rising. My crew, what have you done to them? The human looked directly into his eyes. They are alive, he said. But they no longer remember the artifact you touched. A cold shock hit Rax's stomach. You erased their memories. The human nodded once. It was necessary. They accessed something that belongs to us. Something dangerous. Rax struggled against the restraints. We found it by accident. We meant no harm. The human's voice remained impossibly calm. Ignorance does not remove danger. If you walk into a fire, the fire still burns you. Fear coiled in Rax's gut. Then why am I still here? Why keep me? The human watched him for a long moment, as if studying an experiment. Because you asked the right question, he said quietly. You wanted to know what the artifact truly is. You wanted to understand. Few do. Rax stared, his voice trembling. So tell me, what is it? The human walked to the center of the room. The walls shifted like liquid metal, forming a window that looked out into the void. There it was, the artifact. But it was no longer dim and silent. It was glowing, pulsing, alive. Rax's breath caught. It had woke up. Yes, the human said. When you touched it, what is it? Rax asked again, desperate. The human answered, it is a seed. A seed. Rax echoed, confused. A seed of an old human project, the man continued. Created long before your people even left their homeworld. It was designed to reshape dead worlds into living ones, but it was unstable, too powerful, too unpredictable. Rax stared at the glowing artifact in horror. You just abandoned it in space. The human's expression didn't change. We hid it, he said, and we warned every species in this region to stay away. Anger flared inside. Rax, we never received any warning. The human nodded. Yes, that is why you are here. And then, a terrible realization dawned on him. You are not punishing us, he whispered. The human shook his head. We are teaching you. Rax felt the truth slam into him. His crew, their minds wiped clean. His ship, disabled. It wasn't revenge. It was control. A warning wrapped in a strange kind of mercy. Rax swallowed hard. What happens now? The human raised a small device. A soft blue light flashed across Rax's face. You will forget the details of this place. You will forget this human vessel. You will remember only one thing. Rax's voice cracked. What thing? The human leaned closer, his voice soft, cold, and final. When you see our warnings, obey them. Humans do not protect territory. Humans protect mistakes, old ones. A wave of dizziness washed over Rax. The walls blurred, his thoughts scattering like broken glass. One final question escaped his lips. Why? Why are you telling me this? The human paused. Then he said, "Because the galaxy is large, and we cannot erase every curious mind, but we can guide them." The room faded to white. Rax woke up on his own bridge. His crew moved around him, confused but unharmed. Systems were restarting. His first officer, Vara, turned to him. "Captain, you fainted. There was a power surge, but everything seems fine now." Rax looked at her. She remembered nothing. None of them did. He touched his head, and a single memory echoed in his mind, sharp, unshakable, and terrifying. Humans do not protect territory. Humans protect mistakes. Somewhere out in the stars, a human vessel watched them leave, cloaked and silent as a shadow. Rax whispered to himself, "We must never come back here." He ordered the ship to change course. He ordered every record of the artifact erased. And as they left the sector behind, he felt a deep chill that would never leave him, because he finally understood the truth. The price of ignorance was mercy, but next time, it might not be. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown corners of the universe. See you next time.